All right, first and foremost, give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutation to you brothers out there pushing the truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's Brother Gabaria from the Indiana camp. Come back again with another sit down. This is a live video that's on CNN News. The title, drew me right in, but it says Trump Live World on the Brink of War 3. Trump dire warning to the world. So we're going, chime in and see what he's talking about.
Mr. President, if we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't.
Points, you had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great.
Which it doesn't matter if they make Canada part of the U.S. or not. I mean, it's all getting destroyed. So this whole,
But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. They make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you, if we didn't, because we give them a lot of money. We help icebreakers with their financial difficulties because there's a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything. And we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question. But I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit. And we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors. But we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit? And
hey, listen, Canada might be destroyed too. Scripture says this place is going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah. And what happened with Sodom and Gomorrah? It was destroyed, and the 5 neighboring cities was destroyed also with it. So who's to say Canada ain't gonna, suffer in that in the destruction of America as well.
add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of.
Cannon has blocked the DOJ from releasing the Smith's report until further court proceedings. Get your thoughts on that.
That's a big story.
Yeah.
So if I get it right, the fake witch hunt started by the DOJ having to do with books and records, and Biden had many more, and he wasn't protected by the Presidential Records Act. I was. But all of that fake stuff that took the lives of people, I mean, literally destroyed people. People are destroyed because of what they did. Destroyed. But we got to be president. But Biden did it for 40 years. He did it when he was a senator. That was illegal. And they ruled it was illegal. How about that? They said, it's illegal, but he's unfit to stand trial. So he can stand and be president of the United States, but the prosecutor found that he's unfit for trial. I was going to use that as a major talking point, but I never got to use it because all of a sudden I had a new candidate who was also sort of unfit to stand trial, right? But so what you're saying is that the judge just
You talking about Kamala, man? This guy, this guy's a character, man.
blocked the. So Cannon was thrown off the case. They dropped their appeal because he had no case. They dropped all of that, the lawsuits against us. They lost the lawsuit. So this is deranged Jack Smith. So he dropped the lawsuits. He was told to by the DOJ because they had no lawsuit. They lost in court in front of a very strong and a very brilliant judge. They lost in court, and that pertained to other cases in other courts. So he wanted to do a report just before I take office, probably. So he'll do like a 500-page report, and it'll be a fake report just like the investigation was a fake investigation. And I said, well, wait a minute. This guy was thrown off in disgrace. In disgrace. He's going back to The Hague or wherever they're going to send him. In disgrace. Because he failed so badly. Because it was a fake case against a political opponent. They thought they were going to use this to beat me. So what you're saying is, I'm just hearing that they're not allowed to issue the report. So if they're not allowed to issue the report, that's the way it should be. Because he was thrown off the case in disgrace. Why should he be allowed to write a fake report? It'll only be a fake report. That's great news.
Yeah.
Good.
And if I can just follow up real quickly, you want to comment, many Americans are angry that we're sending millions of dollars every month to the Taliban. Do you anticipate?
It's not even believable. Billions of dollars, not millions, billions. We pay billions of dollars to essentially the Taliban, Afghanistan. And that's given by Biden. That's the same man that took away $50 to $60 trillion worth of value from the United States. Think of it. Probably our most valuable asset. Took away our most valuable asset. This can't be allowed to happen. We are now a nation of common sense. When he does that, 625 million acres, this can't be allowed to happen. Thank you for the information.
Yes, sir.
Most other people probably knew about it, but they wouldn't have told me, right?
Mr. President, on the campaign trail, you vowed to bring down the prices at grocery stores very fast.
Yeah, we won't
but
do it
then
fast.
you recently told Time Magazine that bringing down prices would be very hard. So what can the American people expect when you get into office?
It's always
When
hard to
can they
bring
go
down
the
prices when
grocery
somebody
store?
else has screwed something up like they did. But we'll bring them down. We'll get them down. Energy is going to bring down prices. We're going to have a lot of energy.
Listen, even if they was to bring down energy prices, even if they was to bring down grocery prices, this place is still done for. You know, you can bring down everything you want to. That scripture talks about how what does it say? How victuals shall be so good cheap that they're gonna think themselves to be in a good case. See, so right, really, to be honest, actually, we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward for prices dropping. You know, housing being there. Because guess what? That's when, because the scripture says what in 2 Thessalonians? It says, peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. You know? So I want people to start getting comfortable. When things start getting real comfortable, that's when things are going to make a turn for the worse. All right? See, right now things aren't comfortable. You know, prices are high, food is high, gas is high. You know, but when things start going back down and people thinking that everything gonna be cool and everything gonna be calm and collected, they're like, oh, see, we're bouncing back. Like that's when things are gonna take a real bad turn for the worse. All right. So yeah, I mean, shit, bringing things down ain't gonna make this place no better.
And energy is what brought it up. Energy and their bad spending is what brought it up, and energy is going to bring it down. We're going to have prices down. I think you're going to see some pretty drastic price reductions. As an example, food, bacon, ham, apples, everything has gone through the roof. It's one of the reasons I won. So as you know, I said it, inflation was one of the reasons I won, but I think the biggest reason I won was the fact that they are allowing prisoners to come into our country. They released their prisoners, their murderers. Thousands of murderers are now walking around the streets of our cities and farmland all over. Murders, people that have killed. Many, 32% have killed more than one person. They released them from their jails, their prisons, and their mental institutions and insane asylums into our country. I believe that's the reason we got such a large vote. All right, maybe one or two more questions. Yeah, please, go ahead. Go ahead, you go.
Sir, can you, President Carter is laying in state today in Washington. You had some harsh words for him about the Panama Canal. Is there any disconnect there? Do you feel a little bit bad about doing that on this day?
No, I liked him as a man. I disagreed with his policy. So, hey, he thought giving away the Panama Canal was a good thing. I think it cost him the election. That and the hostages. I actually think that was a bigger factor because that's a deal that just should not have been made. But again, this was a question that was asked of me. I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to bring up the Panama Canal because of Jimmy Carter's death. but people don't bring it up. But, you know, you and other people have asked me about it. No, it's a deal that I was very strongly against. I was a young guy when this took place, but just why would we spend all of that money, lose 38,000 people to malaria, the mosquito? They were dying. It was horrible what was happening. They paid them 4 times more than they would make in the United States, but they knew they were going to go over there and die. And they died in the jungles of malaria. There was nothing we could do to stop it. 38,000. And then we said for 5 cents in the dollar. They were making deals. And fortunately, we had a very smart judge that stopped it cold. I think he called for an investigation, too. Everything was cold. I think he called for an investigation, too. Everything was, there was people. It's a good
What the fuck?
place. People,
Whatever. I guess the spirit. Guess it's the spirit. Cause I'm like, what the hell? Let me go back to the front and see, does he talk about it?
level, and that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up 4 times more than they would make in the United States. But they knew they were going to go over there and die. And they died in the jungles of malaria. There was
Let me look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
I will end the war in Ukraine. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Matter of fact, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, you're gonna be the one who implements it.
In everything we do everything. We take it very, very seriously. But what do we do more than anything else? We put America first.
But see, just to have this conversation shows that that people are gearing up. All right, people are gearing up for World War III. All right, just having this conversation alone, just by it looming around in the air of World War III, a brink of World War III. You know, I remember a few months back, a guy asked, he said, "What can you do? Do you feel like World War III is inevitable?" You know, and where Trump was saying, he said it's definitely can be talked about. He said he's definitely, I feel like it's definitely it can come, but I can be prevented. You know, but that's their words, not mine. But just having a conversation of World War III just shows you what type of mindset people are in. You know, the scripture says there is a time of peace and there is a time of war. Right now, it's a time of war. In the book of Joel, it says basically these other nations are beating their holes, and they're basically turning their agricultural weapons, their agricultural instruments into weapons. All right, because right now it's a time of war, man. You know, everybody can feel it. It's the big elephant in the room. It's not a great mystery. You know, like it was. I want to say probably 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago. You know, even to be honest, war was already ramping up. Really, to be honest, war was ramping up heavily. War was ramping up heavily around around the 60s. You know, the 60s, the 60s, 70s. You know, when America so-called went into space station, that's when war started ramping up. You know, so ever since then, war has basically and now that was what 50, 60 years ago. That's why in the book of Revelations it talks about, it says what the second woe has passed and the third woe comes quickly, because you got still people alive from the Second World War, you know, I mean, they're dying off. You know, it's not too many of them left. You know, people that fought in the Second World War are dying off. But to still have, you know, another whole world war talking about while the world war that you think of as less than 100 years is still is an impressive feat. You know.
And it all starts tomorrow when I raise my hand on the Bible to be sworn as your. We'll be sworn in tomorrow. We're all going to be sworn in together. That's the way I look at it. It's not me, it's you. Greatest of all time. So we will be sworn in tomorrow. I'll be representing you as your 47th President of the United States. And just in conclusion, together we're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, getting them back down, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to the USA, right where they belong, and that'll be done through tariffs and smart policy. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will.
And like I said previously, man, I'm for all of that. You know, let these people feel good. Let these people, you know, get, you know, thinking themselves to be in a better case. Let hope bring back. Let this man bring back hope to America. Cause you know why? Cause as soon as people start getting comfortable, as soon as people start thinking everything will be cool, as soon as people start thinking like, yeah, see, now we're back on top, then guess what? That's when the Lord is gonna strike him through. That's when the Lord is gonna start ramping things up. You know. That's when things are going to start being in maximum overdrive. Like I said previously, it says, Book of Thessalonians, it says, peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. Then it says what? Victuals shall be so good cheap that they're going to think themselves to be in a good case. See, when things are comfortable, people get real lackadaisical. People get real lazy. People don't watch, you know? So yeah, bring all that good talk that you bringing. DJ Trump.
Hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening. And you have no idea how close we are.
Did I just say that? See, he said you have no idea how close we are, man. Guess what? We're gonna get closer. We're gonna get closer. Matter of fact, we going all out, man. Scripture talks about what? Armageddon, man. Armageddon, which means mountain of troops, which means there's going to be a lot of troops. There's going to be a lot of people fighting in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, there's going to be a lot of people fighting there, and Trump even sees it. You know, he knows there's really nothing he can do to stop it. He knows it's on the brink. He right now he's just fluffing the people up. He knows there's nothing he could possibly do to stop it. It's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it.
We will crush violent crime in our cities and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military again. We did it. We rebuilt our entire military. And then they gave billions and billions of dollars of it to, you remember, to the Taliban. They gave it to the Taliban. They gave our military equipment, a big chunk of it, to the enemy. Do you know that we pay billions of dollars a year? Do you know this? Does anyone know this? To Afghanistan? Do you know that? And I say, if we're going to pay billions of dollars a year, tell them we're not going to give them the money unless they give back our military equipment that these poor, stupid people allowed for them to have. So we'll give them a couple of bucks. We want the military equipment back.
Yeah, man, that was basically all it, man. That wasn't the same speech, but that just shows you that that shows you that World War III is on the brink, man. There's nothing that even DJ Trump can do to stop it, you know. People are, and if I was typing World War III, I'll be seeing countless of videos. I'm not even talking about, you know, videos that we and GMS or apostles do. I'm just talking about like just in general, you know. But Lord will help this video was edifying. Until the next time, say shalom.